Hello everybody, welcome back to ERTV. Sitting next to me today is Dashius Clay.
Boom.
What's up?
All good, all platinum.
Finally getting this interview done.
Finally getting it done.
I know, after a couple of,
hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes.
Yes. Everything. Okay, you know what I meant to ask you too before? You're from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. I had no idea.
100% Colombian, caleño.
So you were born there, and then I read, I'm gonna sound like super stalkerish, but then you moved to Spain, and then you moved
I moved to Spain for a couple of years. I lived in Madrid, and then I came to Florida and traveled everywhere in South Florida.
Oh wow! So, but you were raised, would you say, in Miami?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, Miami is like where I was raised, because that was everywhere else I lived in was like a child.
Got you.
Know what I'm saying? Miami's where I stayed the longest.
Right. Now, when did you started off producing, right, for EDM artists?
Yeah, I started off like, I guess we would say producing, mainly for just like every kind of artist. Because like when I had started off in production, my mentor was like a very heavy hip hop producer, but like I was very big on EDM. So like it was just like a blend and a fuse of like EDM and hip hop that I was just like really trying to create, and like that's where I got my chops working with like bigger name artists. But like I think mainly I've always been an artist, like more than anything.
Right. And okay, so I wanted to ask you, since you said you're really into EDM as well as hip hop. That's how I was too. Like I would go to all these festivals, like Ultra, EDC, all of that. I definitely just kind of slowed down on that. I just felt like, I don't know, the scene there. How would you describe it now? Like back then, it used to be a way bigger thing than now. I feel like, or am I just?
Well, because like I think all type of music, especially, is like it gets to a point where it's like trendy. It's a lot more of the people that are just like really firm into EDM, and like the DJs that are actually like have been working, and not like a million people just trying to fucking get in on that industry.
No, I totally remember that. I used to go to.
It was hot, like every club was EDM based. Especially in Miami, like that's what it was. And now it's kind of going back to like
how it used to be. Like last time I went was like 2013.
80% future and then 20% EDM.
Yeah, I would always be at the trap stages though. I remember that because I love hip hop so much. I'd always go to the trap.
But there's a lot of I mean, technically trap is EDM. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
And then it was like infused more with like hip hop and like 2 Chainz type artists and things like that. And it became trap with trap. You know what I'm saying? Because they would talk about trap things over that trap music.
Right.
But that style of trap was like originally more EDM based than hip hop based.
I totally get what you're saying. I agree. Definitely. So let's talk about the bigger artists that you said that you got to work with. Obviously Kendrick, Lamar, we talked about Chief Keef, Lady Gaga,
BWA Raw.
Right, which you're working with now.
I
want to talk about the Kendrick. How did that come about?
The Kendrick was actually through an artist that I know named Jay Lynn. He's from New York, and he actually he's really into like the style of production that I create, and I had him at the studio a couple of nights, and basically just kept going over production with him, and we had created that, and he was like, man, I gotta get Kendrick on this record, and then that kind of just all played into it. I gotta give him a large part of that credit, because he definitely did all the legwork on that. Like,
yeah. So you definitely told me you want to work with Kendrick again. So
yeah, but I'd like to work with anybody. Like my biggest go-to artist that I say that I want to work with is like Shada, for example, which is like not EDM, not hip hop, not anything, but like for me, that's like that would be like, man, that would be the most beautiful stamp on my life passport. You know what I'm saying? Like I would like that.
Yeah. So you got a new project right now.
Platinum.
Yes, and you just dropped a single on it, right?
Bad Math. Yeah, definitely.
How is that coming along? And you say you don't have a release date for it, but can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working on Platinum, the next album. I don't have a release date for it yet, but I am looking to fucking release it like by November, December, the latest. And it's basically done. Anytime I work on an album, it usually takes me like a fucking 8 months, right? And it's usually like 4 months of thinking and then like 4 months of creating. So like.
Oh, okay.
This is like I'm probably like in my 7th or 8th month right now. We're just mixing, like everything else is written, everything else is recorded. And now it's just mixing videos and the rest of the fun stuff.
How many tracks will you have on there?
I can't tell you.
You can't tell me? No. Damn, no exclusive on ERTV.
I can't tell you. But I will say that there's something coming before that.
Cool. So we already got Bad Math out.
Yeah. Well, aside from that album, I will say that there's something that I'm gonna be giving before that album
for all your
as a advertisement.
For your what do you
Dashaholics.
Dashaholics. Who came up with that? You did? Or somebody?
I think somebody came up with that probably a long time ago. The Dashaholics. I think somebody had just like created that. And I think like a lot of my greatest ideas and creations come from like my fans and my friends. Like the beard, like where people would draw the beards on themselves. Like that was all my friends. Like the Dashaholics. Like I'm pretty sure that was a fan that made that. A lot of my designs are fans that send them to me.
Oh really? That's pretty dope. So your friends and obviously fans are like a big inspiration.
Oh, that's 100% like my fuel.
So let's talk about your beard, because you know I have to ask you. I mean, when I first met you, I was like, I like your beard. Mm-hmm. Why red?
Because my beard is basically like my business card of just telling people I do whatever the fuck I want. And red, because red is like, red to me is the most important color. Like red stands for like sex, for fucking passion, for anger, for blood, for rage. You know what I'm saying? Like all the most extreme emotions, like red kind of is connected to those emotions in some form or manner. Like, I like that.
Yeah, and then you were actually featured in the Beard mag, I read.
Yeah, that was cool. Those things are weird to me though, like, cause, like, you know, like especially people that like, you know, I've had this beard for like 3 or 4 years now, so like to me, I don't wake up and think about my beard, or I don't ever think about my beard. You know what I'm saying? Like, so people make a lot bigger deal out of my beard than me. I just love it. But like, so that was cool. Like anytime I do magazines or beard magazines or like 2 months ago, I got invited to Beard of the Year or something. And it's like basically like a charity event during Christmas that they have like all the people with like the greatest beards come together and like do some charities. So cool. I'm excited for that.
That's cool. I think people make a bigger deal about it because than you, because there's not many people that have nice beards. Yeah. And when you do, it takes a lot of patience to grow that out, don't you think?
And it looks nice, right?
Yeah, it does. And you got to maintain it, right? So I'm sure it's like people...
It's like anything. You got to treat it right.
Yeah, for sure. So we got something that you don't want to tell us, but you just want us to anticipate coming out. Any visuals that we should like...
Yeah, I have 2 videos done. And we're looking to finish the next 2 in the next 2 weeks. So there's a lot of visuals. I really would like to get as many as I can done. My goal is to get 5 done for the album. So that's where I'm at right now. It's just getting the visuals, but it's I don't want to release anything that's normal. So it's not always so easy for me to create visuals, and that's why I don't always release so many visuals, because directors and videographers I have change in my pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like I can go all day with videographers, but it's the creating something that's cool and creating something that's worthwhile. Like I don't like wasting people's time in the first place. So if I'm gonna make you watch 3 minutes or something out of your day and use that time, I hope to at least make it worth your while. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't want you just watching me in front of a car, jumping up and down. Like to me, that's a waste of time. I think that shit's a waste of time when I have to fucking watch it. So I wouldn't want to do that to the next person. No,
for sure. I do think your visuals look like you definitely put time into.
Yeah, I mean it's gotta be fun. It's gotta be creative. I like my only weakness is I still like I'm a very like I like to joke around and stuff, but it's like when I get to my music and stuff, I just take it so seriously that it's hard for me to like portray that side of myself, because it's you know, every detail matters to me. Like the music, especially. In every aspect of it, it needs to be delivered correctly every single time.
Yeah, I agree. So, and talking about your visuals, I remember I was on live one time, and then you started like rapping in Spanish and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you ever like in a future want to work with any Spanish artists, or?
I would like to work with J Balvin. He's Colombian.
Hell yeah.
He's the best. Oh, I don't have anything against working with anybody. Like to me, it's, you know, like I just released that Mexican love song, and like I did half that song in Spanish, and And that was fun, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can speak Spanish. I'm 100% fluent in Spanish, so, like, that's not an issue. It's just...
I know, but, you know, sometimes when you want something like, oh, I definitely want to work with, that's, like, my next goal.
Yeah. J Balvin, I would definitely love to work with J Balvin or Aventura. They've always been, like, really fucking raw to me.
Hell yeah.
And I think that would just be sick, like, with Romeo. I'd actually like Aventura, but I'll accept Romeo.
Yeah, because he just released his project too.
Yeah. He's on the solo. I don't know. I guess they broke up.
They did. But I mean, you know, Romeo signed to Rock Nation now on his own, so it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, his life changed.
Everybody else is kind of like.
He's not gonna want to go back down to the.
Hell no.
For what? He's making fucking. Yeah. He's making all the money himself now.
Exactly.
He don't got to split it with no guitars.
But I would definitely say that they were, as a group, as a collective, they were
amazing. They were elites.
Now, just the fact that you somebody asked me this the other day, my top 5 artists of all time, like, doesn't matter. I feel like you're so like me. Like, you listen to EDM, you Spanish, hip hop.
Yeah, I mean, we just drove all the way over here, listening to 80s music. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was the playlist.
So, top 5 artists, doesn't matter what genre, of all time.
Oof. Okay, so I'm gonna. I have to give credit to Kanye. Kanye is like one of my favorite artists ever. Sade. I'm gonna go with. I like George Michael.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Deadmau5. And then last artist. Oof. Jay-Z.
Jay-Z?
Yeah, he's very important in my life, so Jay-Z.
Okay. And Deadmau5, okay, I read somewhere too that you guys had some Twitter beef.
Yeah.
2013. What was that all about?
I basically, like, when I had started in this, like, I was telling you with the Lady Gaga thing, I had seen how much of a reaction people had off remixes, because at that time people weren't really doing a lot of remixes, especially the EDM music, rapping over EDM music. So I did a remix for Deadmau5 for a record that I really liked, and was using, Deadmau5 is just instrumentals. So it's like, fucking, I hit the jackpot. I'm gold. I found a beautiful instrumental. It's EDM. I'm rapping over it, and I'm attaching his name on it. And I had released it, and it like literally went viral the first day, where it had got like an OK Player and like Vibe and Complex, like a bunch of crazy sites, and they had put it up as Dashius claimed Deadmau5. Well, if you know Deadmau5, like, his thing is like, I'm the #1 hater. So he came out and basically attacked me over it, because he was like, I did not fucking sign off on this. I don't know who the fuck you are. Fuck you. He was trying me on fucking Twitter. And he's got like fucking 8 million, 20, I don't know how many million followers at that point. And that was like, so it was like an entire day of just going back and forth. And I think, he didn't want me to capitalize on that, but it definitely did a lot better for me than it hurt,
Right. Now, did you guys ever?
No, I never spoke to him again. No. Yeah, his last words to me were, "You'll be forgotten after this tweet."
What? Well, I mean, I think it's cool that you still like included him in your.
Oh, of course. Yeah, because imagine that was crazy for me, because I'm like, damn, I'm your biggest fan, and you're like, you're trying me. This hurts.
Damn. Oh God.
But whatever. I feel him though. Like, I could understand if somebody did that to one of my songs and it sounded whack. I would feel the same way. If I didn't like it, I might feel the same way. If I don't know that person, I might feel like you robbing me. So I understood him, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you gotta understand me. I'm doing what I want to do.
I was just, listening to your music, and I couldn't really. It's different. Like, it definitely separates you from a lot of people, because I feel like now a lot of people sound like each other. Like, a lot of artists sound like this artist. How would you describe your music style? I feel like you have your own.
Yeah, it's hard. Right? It's hard to really explain, because it's not. I have so many sides to myself, and that's why it's even harder to box in. And then I hate the thought of a box, so that's why it's even harder to box that in the box, because it's like I refuse to, and I'm not that basic to where I'm like, okay, cool beat. This is how I usually rap. Like, it's very. I'm so detailed, and I'm so like I said, I really want to steroid an emotion. So it's like you wouldn't say something the same way if you're heartbroken as if you're horny. You know what I'm saying? Like, or if you're fighting somebody as if you're about to fucking try to heal the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everything has a certain way of delivery and a certain way of like getting that point across. So it's the same way with my writing. It's the same way with my anything that I do musically. It's like it's delivered a different way because that's just the reality of it for me. I wouldn't be the same way in every situation.
Right.
So that's why my style is. I think it is the way it is because I write and work and perform off of emotion.
Yeah, I could definitely hear it.
Yeah,
for sure. So I was just trying to figure it out. I'm like, this is just different.
Yeah, and plus, my upbringing is every sound. You know, especially being in Miami, like we're a big culture pop. You know what I'm saying? Like you go 2 miles this way, it's Cuban. You go 2 miles that way, it's hip hop. You go 2 miles that way, it's salsa. You go 2 miles that way. It's like there's so many sounds over here. And growing up in Miami, that how could you like really narrow it down to one?
Right. And then speaking of Miami, one of my last questions I want to ask you is, obviously you've been doing music for a while, right? You grew up in Miami and stuff. You were raised. How would you describe the music scene? Like, do you think more people, more artists? Because, well, I mean, it might be a little bit harder for you because as far as like EDM and DJing, I feel like there's a lot of DJs down in Miami. But in hip hop, if we talk about hip hop, I feel like now where we're at, there's just so much more exposure for artists out here in South Florida.
There is. I think the problem with Miami is that we don't have necessarily a lot of roots. So a lot of the people that come here aren't necessarily like third generation Miami or fourth generation Miami. Like that's just starting to happen. So I think like a lot of the artists that come down here are from other places, and there's a lot of mixed people coming in here, and that's why we don't have like a strong foundation for artists in Miami like there are in other cities. But the amount of talent in Miami, like, I think it surpasses everywhere. Like, there is so many dope artists in Miami that are unknown, that are known, that are crazy, that are half part-time rappers, that are part-time artists, part-time singers, that are full-time, that are, like, all across the board. I work in studios all the time. I see so many artists that I'm constantly like, holy shit, this guy, this girl, this whatever, like, this kid. That's another thing is like the amount of producers that are 12, 13, 14 years old that create these fucking hits, like it blows my mind every time. Like I'm open-minded. I'm not one of those like, oh, I only like this. Like, so I'm just constantly like, yo, Miami is a boiling pot on the verge of exploding, and just somebody hasn't had enough power, time, or passion or connections to tap into it and be the fucking source. You know what I'm saying? Because if somebody was really intelligent, they would come down here and snatch up like 8 artists and fucking be a trillionaire. You know what I'm saying? And change the world. So,
wow. Damn, that's one way to put it, right?
I mean, that's what it is. Yeah. It's like Miami really has a lot of dope, genuinely good artists.
Well, yeah. I agree. I mean, Florida, as far as just South Florida.
Yeah, so yes.
Beach,
yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
Yeah, I say Miami, but I'm South Florida.
You mean, South Florida. All right, well, I'm looking forward to the album and the visuals and whatever it is that you said you got coming for us.
Yep.
Tell them where they can find you at.
DashiusClay.com, at DashiusClay. That's basically it. If you can't find that, you shouldn't be finding me, so.
And make sure you follow me at Evelyn G. Romo and New Era Promotions.
Yes.
Bye.